Welcome back. Very busy night tonight in the National Hockey League. This is how it's designed, although this is the busiest Thursday for the rest of this month. Next Thursday, I think it's 10 games. So way easier. But yeah, 7 games starting at the same time. I watched what I could, took notes on what I could, and now we're doing the review. I've seen some comments saying, well, why don't you watch highlight packages before you do the review? Highlight packages tend to run between 2 and 5 minutes each, so that would mean between 25 minutes and an hour of watching all that. And then updating notes where I've already got games done, it would be an absolute nightmare. All right, starting off with Anaheim and Boston. Very nearly became a trap game here, didn't it? So it was Gibson versus Ullmark in this one. Bruins press, they draw a power play. It cycles. The Ducks are shot blocking. It's killed off, just the one shot allowed by Anaheim. Bruins get another power play. They didn't get any easy entries on that one. Anaheim managed to kill that off. Klingberg then defended a 2-on-1. The Bruins score, but it's offside. So offside challenges pretty successful tonight from what I saw. The shots are 11-2 for Boston with 4 minutes left. And it's scoreless after one. Second period, early on, Hall scores one from Lindholm and Grzelcyk at 2:31, and he just buries it in close. So Taylor Hall with a goal there. Good. He just had the one goal coming into tonight. No assists either. So he buries that one and puts them ahead 1-0. Bruins push for more, but the Ducks answer. It's Vatrano, former Boston Bruin, from McTavish and Strome at 6:03. The Ducks then get a power play. That was killed off by Boston, but the Ducks go back to the power play. So back-to-backs there. Bruins kill that off as well. And then with 1:46 left, Boston goes to the power play. Zacha has a shot that's blocked, and we roll over into the third period. Third period, DeBrusk had a fast break. That was saved. The Bruins then get a power play. That was killed off. So, of course, the last 14 seconds, that Bruins power play is dead at the start of the period. Shots are 5-2 for the Ducks at 6.5 minutes. Yeah, Anaheim was looking to steal one here. Pastrnak has a net drive that's saved. Strome has a chance that's held with 9:29 left. The Ducks get another power play. That's killed off. And then with 32.2 seconds left, the Ducks get another power play, and they call a timeout. So timeout before the power play. It rolls over into overtime. Of course, we needed overtime. We needed overtime a lot tonight. If a team I cheered for was in a game, it went to extra time. Ducks control. They set up the power play. There's a near miss for Sagres. And then Terry's denied, and the Bruins clear it out. It's killed off, and then we can go back to 3-on-3 on the next stoppage. Pastrnak can't bury one. Vatrano's denied on a 3-on-1. Pastrnak can't bury on a 2-on-0, and Strome gets absolutely robbed on a 3-on-0. So 3-on-0s. Yesterday it was Columbus and Vancouver. Tonight it's Anaheim and Boston. With 23 seconds left, Boston gets a power play, and that just rolls to the end of the overtime, and we go to a shootout. In the shootout, it's Taylor Hall with the winner. So Boston goes to 4-1. They escape the dreaded trap. For Anaheim, they're 1-3-1. They'll take a point in this one. Your 3 stars are Hall, Vatrano, and Ullmark. The shots are 13-5 Boston in the first, 10 apiece in the second, 11-9 Anaheim in the third, 5-4 Anaheim in the overtime. Final shots 36-31 for Boston. Power plays, Anaheim 0-4, Boston 0-5. Hits 23-18 for Boston. Gibson saves 35 out of 36. Ullmark saves 30 out of 31. Solid goaltending at both ends of the ice, something that is really important if Anaheim's going to turn around this 1-3-1 start to the season. So, next up, Arizona and Montreal. You know, I talked about this last year. Sometimes the most entertaining games will feature teams that are not considered to be very good. Now, Montreal's record is decent. It is. And we'll see whether or not they can keep it going. But this was far more entertaining than it had any right to be. It was Ingram versus Allen. Good early play by the Habs, and they're rewarded. It's Josh Anderson. He scores from Drouin and Doc at 1:58. And then Caulfield makes it 2-0 at 4:13 on what was Montreal's third shot. So they've got 3 shots, and 2 of them are in the net. And then Gallagher, on what proved to be the 4th shot, he scores from Savard at 7:17 on a rush. So they've scored 3 goals on 4 shots. Rough start to the night for Ingram. The shots are 6-0 for the Habs at the half. So it's not like there was a lot of offense coming from Arizona at that point either. Coyotes get a power play. That's killed off. We had a fight between Cassian and Jack-Eye. I think Jack-Eye won that one. Coyotes get another power play. That's killed off. Good kill by Montreal. So it's 3-0 after one. Second period. Coyotes press, but they're kept to the outside. Drouin's denied on a fast break. The shots are 4-0 for Montreal at 5.5 minutes. And then Slafkovsky gets his first goal in the NHL at 8:17. And the funny thing was, he's on the bench after, and Gallagher's like, "Yeah, you got to wave. You got to wave. You got your first wave." And so Slafkovsky waves. Mosier's then denied with 2:03 left. The Coyotes get a power play. Suzuki's tripped on a breakaway, shorthanded. So guess what happens? Penalty shot. And he scores. So it's a shorthanded goal, and it's a penalty shot goal at 18:27. And it was a beautiful deke. They talked about it as a Datsyukian goal. I will say this. Suzuki's off to a very good start to the season. He's a good player. I said when I talked about good contracts, his was one that I felt was good. I stand by it. So it's 5-0 after 2 periods. But staying focused going into the third period up by 5 can be difficult. So we see that in this game. Gallagher has a rush that draws a power play. Arizona did kill that off. And then Mosier scores from Boyd and Krause at 6:20. And less than 2 minutes later at 8:18, Boyd scores from Krause and Keller. So Krause with a couple helpers, Boyd with a goal and an assist. And it's suddenly 5-2. Coyotes press with 9 minutes left. They get a power play. Valimaki with a crossbar away from getting them closer. So that power play's killed off. They pull the goalie with 4 minutes left. That allows Monahan to hit the empty net at 16:36. Makes it 6-2. That's your final score. Montreal's 3-2 on the season. Arizona's 1-3. 3 stars in this one: Slafkovsky, Suzuki, and Gallagher. The shots: 11-5 Montreal in the first, 12-11 Montreal in the second, 11-7 Arizona in the third. Final shots: 30-27 for the Habs. Power plays: Arizona 0-3, Montreal 0-1. The hits: 26-13 Arizona. Ingram saves 24 out of 29. Allen saves 25 out of 27. And so for Montreal, yeah, they're 3-2. And we'll see how far they can go with this, how long they can stay in the hunt. But they look relaxed. They look like they're having fun. And that's kind of what Marty St. Louis brings to the table. After he took over last year, they had fun. They were scoring. They were loose. They were relaxed. And I'm seeing a lot of that with Montreal so far this season as well. Which brings us to Dallas and Toronto. It's early in the season. This was a big game for Toronto. You could feel that. It was Wedgwood versus Samsonov, and Wedgwood, I've noticed too, the announcers are saying Samsonov. I'm still saying Samsonov because that's how I've learned to say it from when he was in Washington. Anyways, Wedgwood, really, really solid numbers in Dallas. Not necessarily the best win-loss record, but the guy's pretty good. And it was the Robertson brothers against one another, and Jason got one up by his brother tonight. So early press by the Leafs. The Stars, though, they get an early power play. That's killed off. The shots are 3-1 for Toronto at 9 minutes. So Toronto's getting better zone time. They're getting the better opportunities. But then Sagan fires wide on a break. And then Glendening opens the scoring for Dallas from Lundqvist and Kiviranta at 14:45. The Stars get a power play. It then becomes a 4-on-4 for 57 seconds. So that rolls over and everything's killed off there. Hintz is then denied in the final minute. So it's 1-0 Dallas after 1. Decent road period. They held Toronto to 6 shots. Second period, early power play for the Leafs, and they score. Kerfoot on the power play from Sandin and Nylander at 2:31. The Leafs then go back to the power play. Tavares couldn't bury one. The Stars clear it out. That power play is killed off. The Stars press. The Leafs are shot blocking there. Then the Stars get a power play. And then we get a minute 12 of 4-on-4. There was a lot of penalties in this game. And Marner drew that penalty on Dallas. So really good play there by Marner. Then there's a shorthanded Kiviranta shot that's saved, and everything's killed off. Suter fires high on a rush. The Leafs get a power play. That was killed off. With 4.8 seconds left, the Leafs go to the power play again. So there's a lot of power plays in this game. Third period. Shortly after that power play ends, it's Robertson that puts the Leafs ahead from Kerfoot and Riley at 1:59. And 6 minutes into that period, the shots are 8-1 for Toronto. So that's the kind of pressure you want to see if you're a Leafs fan. Those are shot totals you want to see. But Dallas did fight back. They get a power play. They scored, but it was waved off for goalie interference. It's challenged, and Sagan's power play goal counts at 7:21. Stars then press at the half now that it's tied. With 6:13 left, the Leafs get a power play. That was killed off, but it managed 4 shots. So this is where Wedgwood was really becoming quite the story. 1:11 left, the Leafs get a power play because that's what happens. Shorthanded shot for Lindell is saved, and we're going to overtime. Nylander has a net drive that's held, and that power play's finished off. The Leafs press. Robertson as a net feed. That's tipped out, and that was a net feed by Nick Robertson. 255 left. The Leafs have a timeout. Suter defends a Marner rush, but then Robertson scores at 3:46 from Matthews and Riley. So pretty eventful overtime, and Toronto wins it in overtime 3-2. They go to 3-2 on the season. Dallas, with the overtime loss, drops to 3-0-1. Your 3 stars are Robertson of the Leafs, Bunting, and Wedgwood. So I guess that means the dinner's on Jason Robertson when they go out, although considering their difference in pay, yeah, every meal should be on Jason Robertson from here going forward. The shots are 11-6 Dallas in the first, 17-6 Toronto in the second, 17-10 Toronto in the third, and 3-1 Toronto in the overtime. Final shots 43-28 for the Leafs. That's how you bounce back from a loss. Power plays, Dallas 1 for 4, Toronto 1 for 8. The hits 41-31 for Dallas. Wedgwood saves 40 out of 43. Samsonov saves 26 out of 28. Entertaining game. Dallas can't win them all, and they do get a point for this. So, yeah, pretty good night all around. Next up, Pittsburgh. So, with all these games going on, this was the game that I didn't really have to worry about tracking nearly as much as a lot of the other ones. These two here were really the ones that let me off the hook pretty early on. So it's Peterson versus Jarry. Peterson, it's an issue. This is a problem. He's had some bad starts already this year. I do wonder with the Kings expecting playoffs how long this will go on for. So Ruda scores on the first shot. LA had 4 to this point. He scores that from Malkin and Zucker at 4:04. The Pens get a power play. That's killed off. Kempe fans on one, but the Penguins ice the puck shortly thereafter. But before the period's out, Pittsburgh kind of puts this away already. It's Gensel from Letang and Crosby at 14:35, and then it's Raquel from Petrie and Pettersson at 18:19. After the first period, it is 3-0 for Pittsburgh. Second period, quick start for the second. Quick starts the second. That's why I have ouch up there, because, yeah, Peterson's night was over. Jonathan Quick's in. Roy has a rush chance that's defended. The Penguins get a power play, and they score on it. This time it's Petrie from Heinen at 4:13. That was through a screen. Quick didn't see it. Kings get a power play. That's killed off with 2:46 left. The Kings get a key 4-minute power play. They're down by 4. If they're going to get back into it, they got to score on both of those power plays, right? The Pens, though, they don't let them set up. And so that power play rolls over into the third. Fiala has a shot that's held, and the Penguins did finish the kill. And then at 3:01, not long after the kill's done, Jeff Carter scores from Kapanen and Petrie, and that was a rush opportunity that he buried. So get party hard, loaded up, and there you go. Kings get a power play, and this time it's a shorthanded goal for Pittsburgh. It's Paling with his first as a Penguin at 4:38. And then the Penguins finish the kill, up 6-0. There was just one question left to be answered, right? So Raquel has a rush chance that's saved. The Kings go back to the power play. It becomes a 4-on-4. Kings end up with a power play, and they score on this one. Breaking the goose egg. It's Grunstrom from Clark and Doughty at 17:32. I believe that's Brant Clark's first NHL point. And all that does is break the goose egg. Pittsburgh wins this one convincingly, 6-1. They go to 3-0-1 on the season. The Kings drop to 3-3. Your 3 stars are Petrie, Jarry, and Ruda. The shots 16-9 LA in the first period, and they came out down 3. So, again, the fact Jarry's playing really well and Peterson allows 3 goals on 9 shots, just the optics of that, yeah, it's going to make it tough for Peterson. 16-13 LA in the second were the shots, and then 12-8 for Pittsburgh in the third. Final shots 40-34 for the Kings. Power plays, the Kings 1 for 6, Pittsburgh 1 for 3. The hits 35-28 for Pittsburgh. Peterson saves 6 out of 9. Quick saves 22 out of 25. Jarry saves 39 out of 40. So, really good game for Jarry. And again, Pittsburgh, they're off to a good start on the season. They have yet to lose in regulation. All right, next up, Nashville. So, Nashville has a problem. They still have only beaten San Jose this year. And that's it. This was a game that they should have had, and I thought they did. I was ready to put a record up here and say, all right, so they're good. They got a win over Columbus. They needed that. But Columbus, there's some fight in these guys. So it was Lankinen versus Merzlikins, and early on, Jeannot scores from Sissons and Trennan at 3:16. The shots 4.5 minutes in are 3-2 for Nashville. So they come out, they're playing well right out of the gate. Preds then draw a power play. There was a shorthanded rush for Roslovic. They did kill that off. Preds are controlling the play. Josi fires one wide on the rush, but then Johansson, he scores at 10:45, so just past the halfway mark of the first. Nashville's up 2-0. Ekholm and Niederreiter with the assists as Johansson buries the rebound. Preds go back to the power play. That was killed off. There's a power play for the Predators then with 9 seconds left. The last 6 shots of this period, though, were by Columbus. So you could see the momentum was starting to shift, even though Nashville was getting these power plays. So second period, aggressive penalty kill by Columbus does finish off that kill. Josi then gets a goal to make it 3-0, but it's offside. So that goal comes off the board. Columbus gets a power play. That was killed off. The shots are 6 apiece at the half, evenly played first half of the period. Lankinen was sharp when Columbus pressed. Then Columbus gets a power play. That's killed off. But then Bean gets Columbus on the board at 16:09. The Preds try to respond, and they do. Trennan restores this 2-goal lead at 17:38. And with 1:34 left, Nashville goes to the power play. So that rolls over into the third period, where after Columbus has finished the kill, at 38 seconds, on a break, Gaudreau scores from Blankenburg. So all of a sudden, we have a tie game. So this is where Nashville's got to get it together, right? Preds look to answer, but Columbus gets a power play. It's unsuccessful. However, Danforth, hardworking guy, gets a goal from Chinakhov and Peak at 12:07. Suddenly, Columbus has a lead. And this was, and again, I kept waiting for Nashville to push back. I'm like, okay, Nashville's going to push back. I still felt like they'd win this. Nope. Voracek fires one wide as Columbus presses for more, and then Blankenburg gets one from Voracek and Roslovic at 18:37. So Columbus, a lot of momentum in that third period, a lot of shots in that third period. Nashville pulls the goalie with 1:10 left. That allows Gaudreau to hit the empty net from Nyquist at 19:14. So Johnny Gaudreau with 2 goals tonight, and Columbus wins 5-3. They improve the record to 2-3 on the season. For Nashville, they're 2-3-1 with the loss tonight in regulation. Your 3 stars are Blankenburg, Gaudreau, and Danforth. The shots, 10-9 Columbus in the first, 15-9 Columbus in the second, 17-8 Columbus in the third. Final shots, 42-26 for the Blue Jackets. Power plays, Nashville 0 for 5, Columbus 0 for 3. Hits, 28-15 for Columbus, so they out-hit them and outshot them. Not a very Nashville-like game. They should at least have the hits, right? Lankinen saves 37 out of 41. Merzlikins saves 23 out of 26, and he gets his second straight win. And honestly, Columbus, it's early in the season. It looks like they got their mojo back, but they do need to stop falling behind. That being said, 2-goal leads are not safe in the NHL, and we'll get into more of that on the next board. Okay, so it's over. The drought is over. So there's still a winless team in the NHL, and it's not the Sharks. So the San Jose Sharks tonight went out and they had a good road game. It didn't start out that way. In fact, honestly, the first 40 minutes, Rangers were the better team, but in the end, that's not what matters. It was Reimer versus Shesterkin. Early jump for the Rangers. The Rangers get a power play. It becomes a 5-on-3. That's killed off, and then the Sharks get a power play. They score on theirs. It's Couture from Cunnin and Carlson at 6:02. The Rangers get a power play. Panarin has a chance that deflects out. The penalty kill for the Sharks tonight might be their MVP, honestly, because the Rangers get another power play in the final minute. Sturm blocks a chance for Trouba, so that power play rolls over into the second period. With 1:11 left in it, they killed that off too. But at 1:50, the Rangers get on the board, and it's Hedl from Kreider, scored on the rush. And then at 9:05, the Rangers get a lead. It's Panarin with the 6th shot of the period for the Rangers. San Jose only had 2. So it's 2-1, and I thought, okay, so this is where that shift has changed, and this is where the Rangers win it. No. Schimmick would score from Nieto and Lindblom at 13:10. It was a screenshot, no chance on that one for Shesterkin. But after 2 periods, it's tied at 2. And in the third period, San Jose was going for it. They had the only shot in the first 3.5 minutes, so they're controlling the Rangers well. Sturm was robbed. There's an ovation for Igor. I assume many Igor chants as well. The shots are 6-1 for San Jose at 9 minutes. They desperately wanted this win tonight. Turns out losing 5 in a row motivated them. I don't know why I looked at the Canucks logo when I said that. 4:58 left. The Rangers get a power play. It becomes a 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. The Rangers press in the final minute, but we're going to overtime. Hurdle was denied early. The Sharks control it. Carlson goes beast mode, and he gets the goal from Meyer at 49 seconds. Yeah, Erik Karlsson with the winner. Your score's 3-2 in this one in overtime. So for San Jose, they're 1-5. For the Rangers, with the overtime loss, they're now 3-1-1. Your 3 stars are Karlsson, Hedl, and Couture. The shots, 8-5 Rangers in the first, 13-4 Rangers in the second, and then 16-2 San Jose in the third. And in the overtime, they had both shots, including the one that matters. Final shots, 27-23 for San Jose. That's not a full 60 minutes. Gallant's not going to be happy with that. The power plays, San Jose 1 for 3. The Rangers, an uncharacteristic 0 for 5. But San Jose's got a very good penalty kill, right? Hits 33-19 for the Rangers. Reimer saves 21 out of 23. Shesterkin saves 24 out of 27. And yeah, for the Rangers, it's still a good start. They're still off to that really good start. But yeah, this is a loss that they're not going to be happy about against San Jose. So we'll see what that does to their whole power ranking on Saturday. It may not do much. It all depends on how they bounce back from it, right? All right, next up, Ottawa. Break up the Sens, right? So it was Kemper versus Forsberg in this one. They had a really nice ceremony for Eugene Melnyk. I understand there are people who didn't like Eugene Melnyk. I had moments where I didn't like Eugene Melnyk either. Plenty of them. But when you look back at his body of work as the owner of the Ottawa Senators, first off, he saved the franchise from being potentially moved. And I think in his heart, he felt he was doing the right thing for the Sens, even when to the rest of us it looked like he was crazy. So there's that. So that was nice. The Caps press early. The Sens are shot blocking. The shots are only 1 apiece at 5.5 minutes. And honestly, I thought, okay, so tonight's games are going to be light for scoring. Some of them were, some were not, including this one. Caps get a power play. The Sens don't let them set up, but it becomes a 5-on-3. Mott blocks an OV shot. There's a post for Strome, but eventually the dam bursts. It's Oshie from Johansson and Karlsson at 10:01. That's the 5-on-3. And then Mantha scores from Orlov at 10:35. That's 5-on-4. And so it's 2-0 for Washington. Then there was a near miss for Oshie as the Caps press. The Sens did press back in the final minute, but it's 2-0 Washington after 1. Second period, the shots are 3-1 for Ottawa 3.5 minutes into the period. We get a power play for the Sens, and they score. Both power plays were very good tonight. It's Batherson from Tkachuk and DeBrincat at 5:48. Good cycle, good goal. Batherson's on it. Sens go back to the power play. The Caps are blocking. They clear it out. However, at 7:39, Batherson scores on the power play again. This time it's Shabbat and Tkachuk that get the assists. So big second period for Batherson. 2 power play markers. Norris then scores, but they rule it a high stick early, and yeah, that goal comes off. Sens go back to the power play. It becomes a 4-on-4. That's killed off. Then we had too many Sens on the ice, so the Caps get a power play. That's killed off. Batherson has a rush that's saved with 12.5 seconds left. The Sens get a power play. Rolls over into the third, where the Caps finish the kill. There's a post for Tkachuk. The shots are 4-1 for Ottawa at 4.5 minutes. So while a lot of games were going to overtime, I felt like this one had an overtime feel to it until Pinto. He gets a goal for his 3rd straight game from Mott and Joseph, so that line's playing well at 5:53. Mott's a very good player. I miss him. Caps press with 7.5 minutes left. The shots are 17-3 for Ottawa with 4 minutes left. So, yeah, they wanted to lock this down. Goalie pull with 1:14 left. They call a timeout as well. Mott scores at 19:23 into the empty net. They pull the goalie again. That allows DeBrincat to hit the empty net from Giroux at 19:52. Your final score in this one's 5-2. Ottawa evens their record. They've done it. They've evened their record at 2-2. Washington drops to 2-3 on the season. They have to be a little frustrated with the start. 3 stars are Batherson, Pinto, and Kemper. The shots 15-7 Washington in the first, 15-5 Ottawa in the second, and 22-7 Ottawa in the third. Final shots 44-24 for Ottawa. Power plays, both teams go 2 for 4. Hits 28-24 for Ottawa. Kemper saves 39 out of 42, and Forsberg saves 22 out of 24. So Forsberg was not busy, but he was good when he had to be, and he only allowed 2 goals, both of them on the power play, so he was perfect 5-on-5, and really what more can you ask for? Next up, New Jersey and the Islanders. This is the best game I've seen New Jersey play in a very long time. So again, if you're a New Jersey fan saying, boy, I really wish they'd fire the coach. Towards the end of the game, I heard them saying, you know who really deserves the credit is Lindy Ruff and the rest of the coaching staff. And I thought, man, there's some New Jersey fans that just yelled at their TVs. So it's Blackwood versus Sorokin. Tatar was denied on a 2-on-1. I'm convinced that Tatar is going to be the guy who's jinxed. The guy who cannot score this year. It looks like that's going to be the case. He's getting the opportunities. Nothing's going in the net for him. Power play for the Devils. Tatar has a blast that's held. He looked skyward after that one's held. Then there's a near miss for Bratt on a 2-on-1. The shots are 11-0 for the Devils 6 minutes into the game. So the Islander fans were grumbling early, and I totally understand why. So there's a near miss for Wood on a break. The Devils press with 8.5 minutes left. Palmieri with a near miss. The Devils rush with 3:10 left. The Islanders get their first shot on net of the game. So, and then look what happens. They press a little bit, and with 2:51 left, they draw themselves a power play. Dobson has a blast that's held. That power play's killed off. And at the horn, we get some pushing back and forth. A little bit of emotion in this game. Second period, Hughes scores from Severson at 1:35, and then the Devils press for more at 2.5 minutes. Wallstrom has a net drive. That's defended. But then Andre Palat, very smart pickup, scores from Bratt at 8:05 and makes it 2-0 in favor of the New Jersey Devils. The Islanders press for an answer. The Devils press back. Good cycle going on for them there. The shots are 6-4 for the Islanders with 9 minutes left. So both defenses doing a pretty good job of controlling shots for the opposition. Bastion was then denied on a rush. The Islanders do clear it out. The Islanders, they press. They draw a power play. New Jersey did kill that off. The Devils press with 1.5 minutes left. Pajot's denied in the closing seconds. We're going to the third period with it 2-0 New Jersey. Third period, Howla has a chance that was held on to. Pajot has a rush chance that sets up a press. Devils get a power play. It's killed off, but then Palat adds another. This one from Bratt and Heischer at 15:28 makes it 3-0. The Islanders do get on the board. It's Lee from Palmieri and Barzal at 16:44. They pull the goaltender with 3 minutes left. With 1 minute and 39 seconds left, the Islanders call a timeout. But in the end, Heischer scores the empty netter at 19:25. That makes your score 4-1. The Devils go to 2-2 on the season, and the Islanders drop to 2-2 on the season. So your 3 stars are Palat, Bratt, and Hughes. Your shots are 13-3 New Jersey in the first, 10-9 New Jersey in the second, 20-5 New Jersey in the third. So those grumbling, booing fans I heard in the third, I get it. Final shots are 43-17 New Jersey, who are the road team. Power plays, New Jersey 0-3, the Islanders 0-2. The hits, 39-21 for the Islanders because they never had the puck. Blackwood, 16 saves on 17 shots. Sorokin, 39 saves on 42 shots. So for the Islanders, this is a discouraging setback. And if I did a panic index now, New Jersey might be in better shape. The Islanders, who knows? Maybe even the Rangers might be a little bit different. But anyways, yep, that's how the panic index works. It can change very quickly. All right, and of course the power rankings change quickly this time of year as well. All right, next up. Oh, Vancouver. So it's now video worthy. The road trip's done, mercifully. JT Miller is likely playing. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's the worst he's played as a Canuck. And he's not alone. And I think that this is a team now that's gone from some lazy, sloppy plays to just now they're in their own heads. I think they're really in their own heads. I don't know how far this is going to spiral, but it feels like last year, and yet their record's worse than it was at this time last year. So it's Demko versus Fleury in this one. Fleury had a good game tonight. He needed that. He really needed to have a good game. Early power play by the Wild. That was killed off. Foligno has a tip that saved. The Wild had the momentum, and they would score first. It's Zuccarello from Hartman and Middleton at 4:37. It's the first time Minnesota had a lead this season. So, congratulations. Here comes Vancouver. They press for more. The shots are 8-0 for Minnesota at 7 minutes. So, got to start on time. Horvat, though, at 7:58, scores for Vancouver from Pearson and Besser. So that's a 3-game goal-scoring streak for Horvat, I do believe. Canucks press with 7.5 minutes left. Eventually, Amon gets his first goal in the NHL from Joshua and Hughes at 16:47. So I saw a lot of comments about how Amon had to come out of the lineup. Joshua had to come out of the lineup because you got to keep Höglander in. And tonight they were honestly two of the better Canucks, Amon and Joshua. So it's kind of faint praise when you think about it. All right, Steele would answer from Kaprizov in 19 minutes. So Vancouver, that lead didn't last very long. And that was during a line change. So sloppy line change, and Minnesota makes them pay. So it's 2-2 after one. Second period, early power play for the Wild. Canucks don't let them set up. We then had a fight between Stillman and Duhaime. Stillman wouldn't finish the game either, so the Canucks were down to 5D for a while there. Canucks get a power play. Horvat has a shot that's held. Then there's a crossbar for Pettersson. It's killed off. 3 shots on that power play. But Joshua would give the Canucks the lead, and the dreaded lead, right? From Ekman Larsson and Amon at 12:37. So Dakota Joshua with his first goal as a Canuck to go with the assist. Amon with a goal and an assist. There's Ekman Larsson with an assist. And then Miller almost adds one right after, but doesn't. Canucks press in the closing seconds. So coming out of the second period is 3-2 Vancouver. My expectation, how do they lose this one? And I found out. Third period. Early press by the Canucks. Lazar gets knocked down. There's some pushing after that. He did get up again. You're never going to keep him down. He gets knocked down. He'll get up again. All right, I could go on for a while with that. I'm not going to. But now it's stuck in your head, right? Cool. So Boldy is robbed on a turnover. Boldy had a decent third period there. The Wild press of 4.5 minutes. Demko holds. They end up getting a power play, and they score on it. So the penalty kill is a problem for the Canucks. It's one of many. I will get into it in the video. Zuccarello scores on the power play at 8:31 from Kaprizov and Addison. Kalen Addison was all over the ice tonight. He really was. I thought he was solid. Things get punchy after a hold for Demko. So 4-on-4, you take one from each team. Besser's then denied on a rush. 5:31 left. The Canucks get a power play. Kuzmenko was robbed by Fleury on that one. That power play is killed off. The Wild press with 3 minutes left. The Canucks get kind of hemmed in with 1.5 minutes left. There were some long shifts there, but they survive and get it to overtime. So in overtime, the Wild controlled early. Pettersson fires one wide. Then there's a near miss by Boldy on a 2-on-1. Zuccarello has a shot that's saved. But at 3:02, during a delayed call, Minnesota ends it. They didn't actually get to the power play. They didn't need it. Kaprizov scores from Zuccarello and Addison. So, yeah, your final score is 4-3 in overtime. There you go. They got Columbus their first win. Now they got Minnesota their first win. Minnesota's 1-3. Vancouver's 0-3-2 to start the season. So, take that, San Jose. Your 3 stars are Kaprizov, Zuccarello, and Fleury. The shots, 13-8 Minnesota in the first, 11-6 Vancouver in the second, 13-7 Minnesota in the third, and in the overtime, 5-0 Minnesota. Final shots, 37-26 for the Wild. Power plays, Vancouver 0-2, Minnesota 1-3. Hits, 21-12 for Minnesota. Demko saves 33 out of 37. Fleury saves 23 out of 26. And the funny thing is, now Vancouver gets to go home and play against Buffalo. Home openers against Buffalo. Normally that would be seen as, well, it's Buffalo. They win that one, right? We'll get to Buffalo after we get to this one. So Edmonton and Carolina, this felt like a big game, and it was a fun game, and it had all the offense you could want for Carolina and Edmonton. And yes, I used the tropical storm flag for Carolina. I try to use smaller magnets with the 5 game board, and I thought, sure, I can use that one. People will know it's Carolina. I understand it's the tropical storm flag, but it's retro, and it's the reverse of what I normally use. So, ta-da! I actually tried to use as many old logos today as possible in honor of the reverse retro reveals. So it's Anderson versus Campbell in this one. Early chances for the Canes. The shots are 3-1 in their favor at 4 minutes. Campbell had a good start to this. Then there's a post for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. The Oilers would get a power play. They score on it. It's Hyman from Barrie and Nugent-Hopkins at 8:22. Nice tip in front of the net by Hyman. The Canes get a power play. That's killed off. Coming out of the first period, it's 1-0 for Edmonton. Second period, early. Svechnikov wires one at 1:38 from Aho and Slavin. This might be the year that Svechnikov gets those goal totals that I've been waiting for years. Might be a really big year for him. McDavid then had a rush chance. That's defended. Chatfield had a shot that almost fooled Campbell from the point. It was close. I don't think he caught it. I don't think he saw it until the very last moment there. The shots are 4-3 for the Canes at 7 minutes. Power play for the Canes. That leads to a shorthanded goal for Edmonton. It's McLeod. He scores from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Bouchard at 8:20. The kill's finished off. 3 shots allowed. So the Canes with 3 shots, but they allow the shorthanded goal. And then Kane scores from McDavid on a 2-on-1 at 10:21. It was a nice play by Kane on that as well. Then Svechnikov, Kotkaniemi, Natchez are all absolutely robbed by Campbell as they're pressing to try to answer. Eventually they do. At 12:35, it's Svechnikov from Natchez. This was the 25th shot of the game already for Carolina, so they came out firing from all angles, and Edmonton allowing too many shots tonight. The Oilers get a power play. That was killed off. There's another Oilers power play shortly after that. That was killed off as well. The Canes penalty kill, pretty good as advertised. The Canes, though, they do press after it ends. After 2 periods, it is 3-2 for Edmonton. Early in the third, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scores from Hyman and McDavid at 1:24. So Edmonton takes the 2-goal lead. Strong forecheck by the Oilers leads to that goal. The Canes get a power play, though, and they score on it. It took 3 seconds. And it's Svechnikov from Aho at 3:38. That is his first career NHL hat trick. The first of 2 who scored their first career NHL hat trick tonight. So the Oilers get a power play shortly after that. They score on theirs as well. It's Draisaitl from McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at 5:16. Both power plays good in this game. Then the Oilers get another power play. So why not score on that one too? After that's the Oilers get their power play goal from Draisaitl. Then the Canes get a power play and they score on theirs. It's just so many goals to follow. Natchez scores that one from Aho and Burns at 8:55, and he scored that on a rush. So Carolina's not letting them get very far ahead. Carolina, it's not their best game, but at least they kept fighting back in it, right? The Oilers get a power play. It then became a 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 43 seconds. Everything gets killed off there. Goalie pull with 1.5 minutes left. Aho was denied on a rush chance off a turnover. And then McDavid buries it into the empty net to remove all doubt from Draisaitl at 19:51. So your final score is 6-4 in favor of the Oilers. They go to 2-2 at the win. Carolina drops to 3-1. They're not undefeated anymore either. Your 3 stars are Nugent-Hopkins, Svechnikov, and McDavid. The shots, 13-12 Edmonton in the first, 16-9 Carolina in the second, 12-11 Carolina in the third. Final shots, 40-33 for Carolina. Both teams 2 for 5 on the power play. Edmonton out-hit them 24-18. It wasn't an overly physical game. Anderson saves 27 out of 32. Campbell, good bounce-back game, saved 36 out of 40. 900 save percentage. You take that, and you run and you wait for the next game. That being said, I need to change boards. Don't worry, everybody. We're almost done. And then I can, go to bed and get up and do it again tomorrow. So Buffalo, right? Sabres. Look at that. Angry goat head magnets. I'm ready for this year, guys. I'm ready. Even though they didn't wear the angry goat head tonight, I thought, yeah, I'll do angry goat head magnets. So it was Comrie versus Markstrom. Comrie looks like a brilliant signing by Buffalo, right? So Bryson fires one wide on a rush, I should say. And Calgary opens the scoring. It's Mangiapane from Kadri and Dubé at 4:21. It was a rush opportunity. And the shots are 5-1 for the Flames at 5 minutes. So already you could kind of feel like, okay, well, Buffalo, had that win over Edmonton. It makes sense if maybe they have a little bit of a fallback. I mean, at least they got Vancouver on Saturday, so they might get that back, right? However, they wanted to get it back tonight. First, it's Cousins from Bryson and Hinostroza at 6:34. Sabres get a power play. That was killed off, but shortly after the halfway mark, they score to get the lead. It's Dahlin from Peterka and Hinostroza at 10:49. The Flames then get a power play, and guess what? It's a shorthanded goal. It's Mittelstadt at 13:10. Breakaway goal. It's 3-1 in favor of Buffalo after 1. And Calgary outshot them. So, second period, Vladar is in. So Peterson got pulled tonight for LA. Markstrom gets pulled for Calgary. I'm not saying Markstrom had a bad game, but seeing him getting pulled can't be, a great feeling for him or for the team. And 46 seconds in, Vladar finds out that the defense tonight isn't that great. Tuck scores from power, and it was one of those chances. Vladar didn't have a chance. They were missing Hanifin tonight for the Flames, and maybe tonight shows that he deserves every penny he gets. The shots are 2-0 for Buffalo, 3.5 minutes into the period. The Sabres get a power play. There was a crossbar for Thompson. Initially, it was called a goal on the ice, and he thought it went in, but the replay showed it hit the crossbar and came right back out. Flames finish off the kill. They needed momentum out of that. However, there's another power play for the Sabres. There's a shorthanded rush for Backlund that's saved. Backlund shorthanded, and rush opportunities seems to be a ton of them. He may end up with a lot of shorthanded goals this year. They did kill that power play off and no shots. So Buffalo doesn't get any momentum out of that power play. Rooney then had a rush chance, just wouldn't go. Flames were out of sorts. as the period went along, but what helped them was Lewis on a turnover. It goes off the ref too to Lewis, so there's a little bit of help there. Huberdeau with the official assist, but the official had the other assist at 19:58. So with 2 seconds, well, a little under 2 seconds left, they score, and it felt like, this could be a big momentum swing. And then 1:09 into the third, that momentum swing continues. It's Zadorov from Anderson into Foley. Zadorov's first goal ever against the Sabres, I do believe. He was a member of the Sabres at one point. It was a strong forecheck that helped lead to that goal. It was a screen goal as well, so no chance for Comrie there. And then the Flames pressed for the tie. They had a lot of momentum in the third. Near miss for Zadorov as well, and the Sabres do clear it out. It's the Sabres, though, they get a power play, and they kind of take the wind out of the building when Tuck scores from Thompson and Middlestad at 5:41. So all of a sudden, it's a 2-goal lead for Buffalo. Now, Comrie earns his pay. The Flames are out shooting Buffalo 13-4 with 7.5 minutes left. They pulled the goaltender with 4.5 minutes left. With 4:16 left, the Sabres get a power play. That was killed off. And then with 2:03 left, the goalie gets pulled again by Calgary. The empty net goal, it's Tuck. His first hat trick in the National Hockey League. Cousins and Gergensons with the assists at 18:35. And your final score is 6-3 for the Sabres. They are 3-1 on the season. For Calgary, they dropped to 3-1 on the season. So Buffalo, yeah, they went through Alberta and they swept Alberta for the first time since, I think they said 2018. Your shots are 16-12 Calgary in the first, 14-10 Buffalo in the second, 17-6 Calgary in the third. Final shots 43-32 for Calgary. Power plays, Buffalo 1 for 5. Calgary only had the one power play. They did not score on it. The hits were 29-11 for Calgary. So they were hitting, they outshot them, but Comrie saved 40 out of 43. Doesn't get into the 3 stars. I had nothing to do with the 3 stars because if I did, it would have been Tuck and then Comrie and then Middlestad. I don't think I would have given Hinostroza a star, but that's me. Markstrom saved 9 out of 12. Vladar saved 17 out of 19 in relief. So for Calgary, we'll see how they bounce back next game and who they go with in net. Because I thought Vladar was mildly better. But again, the defense was just really porous in this game. And every time Buffalo had a prime opportunity, it just seemed to go in. All right, last game of the night. Winnipeg in against Vegas. So the Jets coming off of a win against Colorado. They went with Riddick, Aiden Hill at the other end of the ice. Hill had a good game. Hill, it's going to be interesting to see when Brossoit is healthy what Vegas does. They've got an interesting conundrum. They're going to have Hill and Thompson both playing well, and then Brossoit coming back. So do you stay with Hill? No. I would think Hill would be the odd man out, but we'll see, right? So early shots for Vegas test Riddick, and 4 minutes in, the shots were 4-1. So I thought, okay, Riddick's getting a feel for it, and maybe, nope. Eichel scores from Smith and Pietrangelo at 4:23. At 6:11, William Karlsson adds one from Amadio and Marchessault. And then at 10:07, it's Stevenson from Theodore, and it's 3-0. Now, there was a post for Janssen Fialbi as the Jets tried to return fire, but Eichel scores at 15:17 with his second of the period, and that makes it a 4-0 game. Eichel was looking for a hat trick tonight. He didn't get it. He got close. Jets get a power play. That turns into 1 minute and 58 seconds of 4-on-4. It's one of those frustrating power plays, I'm sure, for the coach. Like, okay, we've got this opportunity. And the whistle went. And we're off the power play. Well, that was fun. That was over. That was fast. So we go to the second period with a 4-0 for Vegas. This game could have been much more lopsided than the final score ended up being. Vegas presses at 2 minutes. The Jets clear. The fans call one. The ref does not. Amadio has a rush chance that's saved. We then had a power play for Vegas. That was killed off. And then Dubois scores at 7:23 to break the shutout. His second period breaks the shutout. From Pionk and Perfetti, Vegas tries to answer. McNabb had a net feed that was blocked. The Jets cleared it out. It was Schmidt that cleared it out on that play. Barron then had a shot kicked aside. So it was a good road period for the Jets, but they only get 1 goal back. They need more. So third period, shots are 4-2 for the Jets at 3 minutes. They continue trying to fight back in this. Near miss for Waugh as Vegas presses. Marchessault has a shot that's blocked. Dubois had a rush chance that was saved. And then Pionk makes it a little bit closer at 10:35. He scores from Morrissey and Lowry on a net drive. So big play there for Pionk. Howden's then denied from the slot. Scheifele's denied, and a near miss by Kyle Connor on that same play. The shots are 10-8 for the Jets with 5 minutes left. They pull the goaltender with 4 minutes left. You might as well. You're getting opportunities. Then there's an empty net miss by Eichel. No hat trick there, but he did get center ice, so it wasn't icing. I like it when they do that. Jets press, Vegas shot blocking, and eventually they get the empty net goal. It's Marchessault into the empty net from Carlson and Pietrangelo at 1938. I think Pietrangelo's shift was like 4 minutes long by that point. He just didn't come off the ice. There are coaches that would drive crazy, but Cassidy, I'm sure, trusts them. So 5-2 is your final score. Vegas goes to 4-1 with the win. The Jets drop to 2-2 with the loss. Your 3 stars in this one: Eichel, Hill, and Stevenson. Shots 13-7 Vegas the first. Both teams had 10 shots in the second, and the Jets outshoot them 11-9 in the third. Final shots 32-28 for the Golden Knights. Power plays: Winnipeg 0 for 1, Vegas 0 for 3. Hits 38-24 for Winnipeg. Riddick saves 27 out of 31, so he bounced back pretty well from this 4-goal barrage. Hill saves 26 out of 28, and like I said, he looked good tonight. So we'll see what Vegas does with their goaltending later on this year. There you go. You're all caught up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.